Welcome to beautiful Buena Vista, Virginia for today's women's lacrosse matchup between the Juniata College Eagles and the Southern Virginia University Knights. Welcome to today's broadcast. I am Adam Wardenberg, and with me today is our good friend Quinn. Quinn, how are you doing today?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing great. Doing great. What are your thoughts on today's matchup?
Well, today should be a really good matchup for the Knights as they're facing a team, the Eagles, who really know how to score. In fact, they, along with their 7-0 record to start the year, they have two athletes, Peyton Goodrich and Grace Gibbs, who I believe are top 10 in the scoring in the nation with 34 goals apiece on the year. So it should be a real good test for the Knights defense. But they also have some offense to counter with Alyssa Johnson. She has 14 goals in just 3 games, so hopefully the Knights will be able to keep pace with the Eagles.
Completely agree. This will be a very up and down game, and something where talked with Coach Rainey Whitworth today. They're prepared for this. They know what they've got to do, and they had a good test on Tuesday. They didn't come out with the result they quite wanted, but they're ready for this. They're players. They're ready to go, and looks like we're getting ready to go. We got refs going over to check the nets. Teams gathered around, and we're excited about the play here today.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the Knights prepared for the offense of the Eagles. I know the Eagles in their previous matchups they've liked to run. They run quick on the fast break, and that's how they've gotten a lot of their goals before the defense can get set up. So we'll see how the Knights counter that.
Well, we're getting ready for this. Coming out here for the opening face-off. All the players getting their equipment on. Looks like in goal today for the Knights, we've got number 21, Morgan Bunch, who's a freshman from Davis High School from Kaysville, Utah. In goal for Juniata is number 30, Chloe Gerhard. She's a senior, and looks like she's a pretty good leader. She's over there commanding the huddle, telling people what to expect. She's not very big for a goalie, but she's pretty good, as you can tell by their 7-0 record. Now facing off here for the Knights, got number 2, Alyssa Johnson, who Quinn just mentioned is our leading scorer. And looks like number 21, Shannon Para for Juniata. Or is that number 18, Peyton Goodrich? I think that's 18. Well, here we go. Ball's in play. Johnson picks it up for the Knights. That's great. Get the first possession of the game.
Looks like she got tangled up in the feet there.
Yeah, that's tough right there. Knights get called for a foul. Juniata with possession. Passing it around the outside. Shayla Lapp with the Ball down there on the baseline. Looks like the Knights are employing man-to-man defense defensively.
The Eagles like to stay pretty spread in their offense. They typically only have one or two high. And they like that 1-2 punch cutting right down the middle.
In goal for the Eagles by number 24, Kellyanne Drummond. Just kind of split right there down the middle. Bounced it right into goal.
Yeah, these draw controls will be super important. As we've talked about, the Eagles can really score. And so every time that they get a draw control, it's danger time for the Knights.
The tough part about that too is, you know, we won the initial face-off there. And unfortunately, Alyssa just got tangled up, dropped the ball. Possession was gained by the Eagles, and next thing you know, we're trying to defend for a little bit too long for what we want to try and do.
Yep, they looked aggressive on defense there to start to force that turnover, so the Knights will look to execute on the transition.
Possession again goes to the Eagles. Again, this is number 4, Shayla Lapp, bringing it up the right side here. Para with it on the baseline there, end line. Up to number 24, Drummond, who just scored. Back over here to Grace Gibbs, who gets double teamed. Back out to Drummond. Number 15, Tupu Mulitalo with a great defense there behind the goal.
It's good defense so far by the Knights. I think man-to-man strategy is the way to go right now, because as we talked about Juniata, they tend to play pretty spread on the offensive side of things and wait for you to make mistakes in your defense. So if you're playing man-to-man, then you're not going to lose anybody in the middle of the field.
Tupu with great defense there again, forces the ball out of bounds. Picks it up, gives it to Morgan Bunch. Morgan's got it at about the 35 right now. She's trying to make a decision with what she wants to do. Again, Juniata just playing man-to-man. Morgan just kind of standing there with her hands up, doesn't really have a place to go with it, Quinn.
Yeah, this is super aggressive defense by Juniata. They clearly want to set the tone at the start of the game and put the Knights on their heels.
Yeah.
And Morgan, she's played well so far this year. She's just a freshman. Doesn't have a ton of experience, but this will be a good goalie matchup. A great matchup for her as Juniata, actually they're top 10 nationally in save percentage. So not only are they great offensively, but on the other end of it too, they're stellar.
Alyssa Johnson with it. Gets it over to Piper Searle, who gets the shot, but it's blocked. Now Juniata racing out with it. This is number 21, Shannon Parra, bringing it up the right side.
Just the fast break they're looking for.
Met by Mar right there on the right. Mar is an awesome sophomore out of Pleasant Grove. Loose ball brings it all the way back to the 30. In the goal scorer, the lone goal scorer of the game, Drummond picks it up. Grace Gibbs with it up top. Over to Drummond. Ball swung all the way over to left corner. Again, good defense by the Knights. They just got to keep that ball out of the middle. Gibbs still with it. Good pass, but Morgan Bunch is right there to pick it up.
It's a great job by the Knights closing off the seam, not allowing anyone to get past them in the middle.
Mara with it, swings it all the way over to the other side. That's to number 10, Josie Skopik, who tries to throw the ball up the sideline. Tupu just not able to reel that one in. Juniata brings it all the way up the middle. Knights do a good job of stopping the ball there in transition. Drummond with it. Up top to Peyton Goodrich. Good defense there by Kate Richards. And another goal for the Eagles there. Who scored that one, Quinn? I didn't quite see that one.
Can't quite get the number on who scored. It's tough to see with the white uniforms.
Yeah, I wouldn't say these jerseys are easy to read with the gold on the white.
But again, it's 2-0 in both goals. They came off turnovers. So the Eagles, they're hounding the ball and just waiting for the Knights to make mistakes.
Knights, I would say, Quinn, definitely need to do a good job of, or a better job of when we get possession, bringing the ball up, and just like Juniata's doing, hold on to the ball for a while, make them make mistakes. Here we go with the face-off. Alyssa Johnson's done good on the first two.
Yeah, she's done well, and that'll be key for the Knights this season. They lost to Graduation, one of their best face-off ladies on the team, in Chloe Mitchell. I think she controlled over 90 draws last year, and so Alyssa Johnson and Josie Skopek have been asked to take on larger roles in that regard. And so far this year, they've done a good job.
Tupu Mulitalo called for the foul on that face-off there. Juniata with it. Ball's up top. Grace Gibbs with it. Good defense there by Tupu. And looks like she's called for another foul.
And despite the 2 early goals, the Knights need to stay with it. They've played good defense. They're wreaking havoc. And one of those was just a lucky bounce that the Eagles got as they strike again.
That's Grace Gibbs right there, off of the foul by Tupu. And unfortunately, she had to stand behind her. They have the player advantage. They attack. And Grace, as she is one of the leading scorers in the country, punishes the Knights right there. What can the Knights do better here defensively, Quinn, to keep them out of the middle?
I think the first thing is they need to control the draw. They've had a couple of good draws that just didn't bounce their way, or there's a foul in the last one. And so they need to take possession of the ball. And if they're stuck on their own defensive end, then they're not going to get anywhere.
Timeout taken by the Knights here. With the Knights down 3-0 with just under 9 minutes to go. It looks like Rainey and her staff are just saying, hey, listen, got to keep them in front of us. Got to keep them out of the middle. Keep the ball out on the perimeter.
Yeah, the Knights, they have the firepower to keep up, as even with Grace Gibbs and scoring all those goals this season so far, along with Peyton Goodrich. Alyssa Johnson, she is averaging just about as many goals as them, despite not playing as many games. So they have the talent, they have the ability. They just got to gather possession of the ball and keep it on the Eagles' defensive end.
The Knights break the huddle. Rainey's a great motivator. She'll bring them together. They come out. They're talking, which is good. They're bringing the energy. They've got to stay connected. Looks like Alyssa Johnson back at it again here for the Knights. It looks like Peyton Goodrich will do it again for the Eagles. Refs got them together. Alyssa's just got to rip this ball out and gain control like she did on the first one. There she goes. Again, Knights with the possession. This is good. Now we got to control it here a little bit. Josie Skopek with the ball. Gets it over to Riley Webster, who gets it over to Tyler John. Now Alyssa Johnson with it. She throws it over. Piper with it on the baseline. Gets it over to Kate Richards, to Alyssa. So this is the kind of ball movement that we were talking about, Quinn. Side to side, wait for Juniata to make a mistake. Even if we possess it for the whole 90 seconds, as long as we've got it, just be patient with it. Great pass and goal for the Knights by number 18, Tyler John. What a play right there.
Yeah, that's a great cut, and that's who they needed to score. Tyler John, she had, I think, 41 or 42 goals last year, and she struggled a little bit to start the year, but that's a good start right there for the Knights.
Yeah, great ball movement. We won the possession. We controlled it. It wasn't anything crazy. We passed it around the outside, and then one cut in the middle, right inside, and a beautiful goal.
Yep, and it seems like, as we talked about, offense is going to win it. Juniata, 3 possessions, 3 goals. The Knights, 1 solid possession and 1 goal.
Here we go with another face-off. If we can win this one again, get another good possession, another shot on goal, get right back into this. That's one of the beauties of lacrosse, is you're never quite out of it. Eagles gain possession off of this face-off. Looks like they're bringing it up the left side. Ball over to Peyton Goodrich right in the middle. Throws it over to Drummond on the right side.
And look for the heavy hitters of the Eagles. That's Goodrich, Gibbs, and Drummond. They've all scored so far, and they're their leading scorers on the season.
Goodrich with it. Over to Gibbs. Back to Goodrich. And another goal for Peyton Goodrich there for the Eagles.
Yeah, that's what the Eagles want. Right in the slot, they had their leading scorer, and she rifles it in.
They got the ball in the middle a few times. They attacked. They got it to the side. They put it back into the middle and right into the goal.
Yep, and I think, you know, the defensive strategy of the Knights is correct. Playing man-to-man, not giving much room, so their top scorers don't get it into the slot unmarked, but they've just got to keep them closer next time. And at the same time, it just shows how lethal the offense of the Eagles is right now. They put 17 goals on a really solid Bridgewater team yesterday. And seems like they're not letting up here.
Eagles win the face-off again. This is number 24. Drummond with it on the right side, over to Gibbs. Back over to Goodrich. Eagles in possession on the left. Another cutter in the middle, and another goal for the Eagles.
Wow.
Looks like that goal was by number 18, Peyton Goodrich again. Tupu's bringing the defense together. It's good leadership right there, telling everybody, hey, we got to come together. Can't be just one of us. It's got to be all of us. Keep it out of the middle. And it all really starts here, Quinn, with this face-off. We've got to gain possession.
Yep, it sure does. As we saw last time they controlled the draw, they were able to score. And since then, they've ended up empty on the draw controls.
Alyssa Johnson on it for the Knights.
It's like a violation there on the draw.
Eagles with it. Drummond over to Goodrich. Back to Goodrich.
And it seems like with every pass, the Eagles are able to get just a little bit closer to the net, so the Knights got to keep forcing them out of the fan there.
Ball on the ground.
That was a good, tough defensive play there by Olitalo.
Yeah. Knights double teaming the ball, force the turnover, although the Eagles still gain possession. I like how aggressive they were defensively, but the Eagles are moving so well through the middle. We've got to do a better job of staying with them and moving with them, cutting them off before they even move. Looks like that's number 2, Alyssa Johnson with the defense there. And another goal for the Eagles.
You see, that's Gibbs again just slicing through. They've been tossing some really wide passes and finding openings in the defense.
And that was unfortunate there for the Knights. They double teamed the ball earlier, force a bad pass. There's a loose ball right in the middle of the field. Eagles gain possession. They regroup and get the shot on goal.
Yeah, the Knights right now, they've got to be ball hawks. You know, it's a tough start, already allowing 6 goals. But as you said, they've forced some tough passes by the Eagles, some miscues, and they've got to be able to capitalize on those ground balls.
Another face-off here. Ref gets his hand in the air, battle for it. Gibbs picks it up, throws it up the left side. Knights come up with the turnover.
It's a good gather by Roxy LeBaron.
Roxy flying up the field.
It's smart, push it before they get set.
Gets the ball back to Alyssa Johnson, who gets it over to our goal scorer, Tyler John. Throws it over to Piper. Piper over to Skylar. Knights doing a good job of swinging it around. Back to Roxy, who brought it up herself. Alyssa with it. Looks to attack, gets cut off.
And the Knights are really crowding the cage here, just leaving one up top.
Unfortunately, pass does not get through. It bounced through the middle right towards the cage. The goalie picks it up before a Knight can get to it. Now here we are, Juniata with it again in possession. Ball all the way back to Chloe. Chloe throws the ball all the way up, midfield.
It's a stellar pass right there.
And Tupu called for another foul right there in midfield.
It's impressive as a goalie if you're able to make those accurate passes downfield.
Gibbs with it, splits the double team. And I'm not sure what the ref called, but it is now Knights' ball.
Yeah, it's a fortunate call for the Knights as Gibbs just dashed right through the defense and had an open lane.
Alyssa with it. Over to Mar. Knights bringing it up the right side. This is Mulitalo with it. Makes some nice moves. Still with it. Keep going, Tupu. Ball. Looks like that's Skylar Rowe with it. Loses possession a little bit. But again, picked back up. Tyler with it. All the way over to Roxy. Roxy swings it over to Piper. What are you seeing, Quinn?
Let's see if they crash the cage or not again. They were able to do that last time, but at the same time, that meant the Eagles' defense were able to crowd the cage as well, and it didn't let anything through. There's too much traffic. That's a good cut right there.
Right to Roxy, and Roxy with a beautiful goal as she spikes her stick right into the ground. The ref's got to go pick it up and check it. But, man, that was a beautiful pass from Melissa right over to Roxy, who cut right through the middle. That was some good lacrosse right there.
Yeah, that was a sweet cut right to the middle and rifled, I think, between the goalie's legs there.
I like that movement right there. That brings it back up to 6-2. Again, 3 minutes left here in this period. Knights need to build on those momentum. They got it to 3-1. They allowed a few goals. But again, that's another great case of we get possession of it. We control what's happening. Get some good cutters. And just go and attack.
We're certainly not worried about the Knights' offensive abilities. Now they got to keep chipping away on the defensive side and force Juniata into some tough passes.
Loose ball here in the middle. Eventually picked up by Gibbs for Juniata.
And Gibbs so far with 2 goals and Goodrich with 3.
Good defense by the Knights. Number 1, Riley Webster up the left side. Prevented a breakaway. Goodrich with a nice little spin move. Gets it over to Drummond out here on the far right.
It's good aggressive defense forcing them to the outside. Resulted in a tough pass.
Drummond throws it underneath. Looks like she threw it right to. Can you tell what number that was? Well, either way, she brought the ball underneath the cage. Went right behind, threw it to Cutting Eagle. Made a nice pass, and she puts it right in goal.
And that's a super slick pass by the Eagles. It's something that you can't really teach. It's just they have a good sense of where the next cut is, and they send it right in front of the goal for an open shot.
I think that was by number 16. Is that who scored that?
Yeah, Michaela Nakarini. Exactly.
Addison England in there in the face-off for the Knights now. Ball on the ground. Still a little scuffle for it. Ball picked up by number 9, Grace Gibbs, and she's been all over the field for Juniata today. Earns the advantage. They don't do anything with it. Ball back out to Goodrich.
Good pick right there.
Great steal. Riley Webster flying up the field, up to Tyler. Tyler looking to make a pass, gets deflected. She picks it back up though. Throws it down to Skylar. The Knights need to go off of this advantage right here. Riley with it up top. Get some more movement, cut in.
Yeah, it was good assertiveness after that interception on the defensive end.
Pass deflected, picked up, looks like on the outside. Juniata gains control. It's an unfortunate turnover right there, Quinn.
And this will be important in the last minute or so of the first quarter. They need to hold Juniata scoreless on this possession.
Great defense right here by number 13, Brooklyn Suttlemeyer for the Knights. Really stopped anything from happening. Good double team, forced a turnover. Knight coach is saying go. Gets the ball up to Brooklyn. Brooklyn fouled. Unfortunately, lets Juniata come and kind of regroup there in the middle. Brooklyn over to Tyler, who throws it up to number 1, Riley Webster. Gets it over to Addison England, back over to Brooklyn. And a great goal by number 1, Riley Webster, who just throws that ball right into the ground, right in front of the cage. And a beautiful shot, beautiful goal by the Knights.
Yeah, Riley's been a great addition to the team this year. She's a freshman from Layton, Utah, and has started all 3 games so far for the Knights. It's a good assertive play right there.
Yeah, it was good build up to the play. Came off of a turnover. They went and attacked. Brooklyn got fouled right there in the middle. Juniata tried to get back and recover, but unfortunately, the Knights were too much for the Eagles on that play. Great offense.
That's 3 solid possessions and 3 goals for the Knights. So they really need to stop here on defense this time around.
Looks like the Knights are sticking with Addison England here in the middle.
It'll be interesting to see what the Knights do coming out of the break and how they make adjustments to the Eagles.
Ball bouncing around there in the middle. Alyssa Johnson trying to pick it up. Tips it again. Only 6 seconds left till halftime. She probably needs to throw this one right at the goal because there's the end of the quarter.
And that's a good battle right at the end there to gain control of that draw. That's how it's going to be all afternoon for them.
And we will be right back here at the start of the next quarter. Back here for the start of the second quarter. What are your thoughts there from the first quarter, Quinn?
Well, there's lots of offense, and on the bright side, the Knights were able to score every single time they came down the field on the offensive side of things, but they've been unable to stop the high-powered offense of Juniata so far. But if you're fans of the Eagles, you've got to like the movement, and you've got to like how their star players are already on the board.
Addison England wins the ball there for the Knights, controlled by Alyssa Johnson, who gets it over to Skopik, who gets the ball back to England, who gets the shot on goal. Ball's bouncing around right in front of the cage and eventually controlled there by Chloe Gerhardt in the middle for Juniata. That's a good first possession right there. Very aggressive. We're definitely coming out with a lot more energy than we did there in the first period.
And the next goal will be key for the Knights. If they're able to get another one in and prevent the Eagles from scoring here, it'll just be three goals the deficit.
Drummond there with the ball, deflected by Tupu. Tupu looking to collect it, but eventually controlled back by the Eagles. Ball up top with Shayla Lapp for Juniata, who has it on the left side. Back over to Kendall Yeager, who puts it on frame, or throws it over to Peyton Goodrich, who puts it on frame, and another goal for the Eagles.
And that's another thing to note about Juniata is they have the high skilled scorers, but they also have the players who are able to get possession of the ball. I think they have two players, Maeve Kuzer, who has 23 ground balls, and so they're able to get possession of it and eventually dish it to their top scorers.
The Knights here have got to win this possession again, and have got to match the energy that they came out with just a little over a minute ago. Addison can win us the possession here, and then we've got to come out, control it, and look to be aggressive. We got to make up some goals here. Again, another win for the Knights in the face-off. Picked up by Alyssa. Gets the ball over to Piper. Piper in the middle to Alyssa, who is our leading goal scorer. And unfortunately, ball falls to the ground and picked up by Chloe Gerhardt again in the middle.
An interesting thing to note here is the Knights have had Addison England take the draw the past few times, and it's worked out. She's won a couple of them, and as Alyssa Johnson has been able to gain control of it. And then she comes right back out as Riley Webster subs back in. So they must like how England's doing on the draws.
Another goal for Juniata as Gibbs gets it over to Kendall Yeager. And Yeager puts it on frame, and another goal for the Eagles here. That makes the score 9-3. Just 2 minutes into the second quarter. Again, another one where we gain possession. We get the ball right into the middle. They get a stop. They bring it up. And second minute in, they get a second goal. I know the Knights got it in them. We've got to take advantage of our possessions here in the second quarter if we're going to get back into this before halftime.
Looks like Alyssa Johnson's going to take the draw here.
Ball possessed by the Eagles.
Oh no, that was Riley Webster on the draw, my mistake.
And Webster called for the foul there by the official. The Eagles player had two players on her, Webster and Baisden, and Webster was called for the foul. Eagles with it in possession.
It looks like there might be a card here, and Webster might have to sit for a few minutes.
It will be Webster called for the foul.
Yeah, you gotta like her aggressiveness as you're trying to dish it back to them, as Juniata's had a lot of success pressing them in the neutral zone, but that one was a little too close to the head there, and it cost her.
She was hit with the yellow card, and it looks like she'll have to sit for 2 minutes. Yeager with it, who just scored for the Eagles. Defended by Marr.
And this is danger territory for the Knights. Already having a tough time stopping them, and now they're a person down.
Kate Richards with good defense there for the Knights. Marr on the ball now. Eagles try and throw the ball across the field. And fortunately for the Knights, the ball rolls out of bounds and we gain back possession. Skopik with it. All the way across the field to number 16, Bailey Bruce, who brings it up the left side. Gets the ball over to Kate Richards. Up to Tyler John. Tyler over to Alyssa. Alyssa back to Tyler. Back to Alyssa. Those two are just playing keep away for a sec.
And for the Knights, this is where you got to see your top offensive players attack, and that's Tyler John and Alyssa Johnson. Johnson's been held scoreless so far, although she has dished out 2 assists so far.
Knights with the turnover. This is Drummond with it up the left side. Tries to throw it to Shannon Para, who gains possession just before the ball goes out of bounds. She's got the ball behind the cage, looking for her options. Throws it over to Drummond. Drummond to number 25, Isabella Mitchener, who tries to shoot it. Picked up by Juniata.
The Eagles are really crowding the middle of the arc there. They've got number 4, Shayla Lapp, just floating around in the middle there, waiting for someone to lose her.
Ball picked up by Kia Basden, bringing it up. Kia still with it. Looks to go in, stops right in front of the cage and puts it right in, and a beautiful goal. That was a beautiful move right there. Her 2-footed jump stop and the way she pivoted there was a beautiful goal.
Yeah, that's a sweet coast-to-coast move, and a quick strike is exactly what the Knights needed.
Yeah, she got the turnover, and she just took off and ran with it. Nobody stopped her. She just kept on going. That was a beautiful goal, Quinn.
And she's another welcome addition to the Knights freshman class. She's from Middleton, Idaho, as the Knights lost quite a few key players after last season, and they've had some freshmen step in and play important minutes so far this season that they'll need down the stretch.
The Eagles call a timeout here to regroup. Their head coach is probably wondering and saying, hey, we probably need to not let somebody go 70 yards untouched and just throw it right into the goal. Rainey telling her team, hey, keep being aggressive, while at the same time being patient with it, gain possession, make sure that we've got it, keep them in front of you, and then attack, attack, attack.
And another thing to note about Juniata College this year is not only do they score a lot, but they're extremely accurate. They're accurate shooting from wherever they are in the field, and they're also super successful in their free position goals. I think they're 37 for 65 this year. That's 56%. And while the Knights, they fortunately have prevented the Eagles from getting those free position opportunities, they're struggling to keep them out of the middle. But as we talked about as well, the Knights are capable. They've got a lot of offensive firepower on their roster, and they have 4 goals, even without Alyssa Johnson getting on the scoreboard. So there's a great opportunity if she's able to pick up where she left off last game.
Knights break the timeout here. Looks like it'll be back to Addison, England in here for the face-off for the Knights. And it's going to be number 18, Peyton Goodrich again, trying to go at it for the Eagles. Again, like we talked about, since they've put Addison here into the face-off, the Knights have been fairly successful of gaining the advantage. And it looks like they're calling it night ball. England with it, up the middle, sprinting down, tries to make a pass, and it's stolen by the Eagles. Gets the ball up to Shayla Lapp, who's running up the middle. Gets the ball up to the right side for the Eagles. Looks like that's Kellyanne Drummond with it.
It's good pressure there.
Great pressure. Picked up by number 1, Riley Webster on the left side. She's sprinting up the side, gets the ball to the middle. And again, another turnover caused there by the Eagles. The ball's bouncing around, so not quite a turnover yet. But again, controlled by the Eagles. That's number 29, Tess Lebibor. Ball's bouncing around. Another steal for the Knights. That's number 28, Ellie Patterson. Ellie puts the brakes on, spins around, gets the ball over to Kate Richards. Kate over to Webster, who gets the ball over to Tyler John. Tyler up to Alyssa.
Knights are playing 3 up top now in the offense before Tyler John slides back down there in the slot.
Alyssa with it. Surrounded by quite a few people, and looks like the refs have called a foul for something.
And the Eagles, they know Alyssa Johnson's the Knights' leading scorer, and they're just hounding her. And they've been successful so far, leaving her scoreless. But let's see what she can do with the free position here.
Looks like they called a penalty for a stick to the face, and that's number 18, Peyton Goodrich, going off for the Eagles. And that's big. She's a big, important player for them.
Sure is.
She's going to be out for 2 minutes.
And that was a nice duck under the check by Johnson, avoiding any steal or turnover, and actually causing the foul on Goodrich there.
Alyssa picks it up,
really important
10 yards
play
from the goal. Nobody between her and the goalie right now. Ref signaling for a reset of the shot clock. And here we go. Our leading goal scorer breaks in and just misses it wide to the right. Loose ball all the way around there. Picked up by the Knights again. They're in possession. Ball over to Tyler John. Tyler swings it over to Kia, who scored our last goal. Gets it over to Webster up top. Over to Johnson. Johnson's pass sails over the head of Tyler, and ball goes out of bounds. Possession to the Eagles.
And already 7 minutes gone in the second quarter, and the Knights, they've tightened up defensively, only allowing 2 goals so far compared to the 7 they did in the first quarter. So they have an opportunity to get back in this game, only down 5.
Eagles bringing it up through the middle, and that's Gibbs, brings it all the way up. She just ran right past everybody. Ref comes in from behind, signals that there's a penalty, tells Alyssa Johnson that she's got to go back. Gibbs with it here on the left side, right in front of the 20-yard line. Good defense there by Tupu, but unfortunately, I think that Riley Webster is going to get called for a foul here. Or are they calling it on Tupu? Looks like they called it on Tupu.
And Gibbs, she's so good at those cuts that's preventing the Knights to foul her, because she's getting the inside cut on them. But she scoops that one in.
And unfortunately there for the Knights, Morgan Bunch does stop the initial shot, but there's a loose ball right in front of the cage, and it looks like that Gibbs picked that up and just scooped it right in over the goalie. That was an unfortunate bounce there for the Knights. One where they stopped him and could have had it, but just couldn't quite pick it up.
Yeah, it's a tough bounce, and those things will happen, but they need to regroup and get back on the board here. and has some success in the offensive side like they did in the first quarter.
Looks like it'll be another face-off here for the Knights. Eagles making a few substitutions. And again, it's tough because the Knights actually have a player advantage right now. Goodrich is not on the field. She's still got 33 more seconds. And I'm not sure why the Knights get the ball possession here.
The officials going over to the scorer's table.
Looks like it's a substitution violation for the Eagles. And it looks like number 16, Michaela Nakarini, will have to sit out as well for a little bit.
And now the Eagles, they're down 2 players, so the Knights really need to take advantage of this opportunity right here. So the Eagles only able to play 5 players back right now. Let's see if they can convert.
Johnson with it up top. Gets it to a cutting Tyler John, who puts it right on frame. And beautiful goal there for Tyler. Drops her yellow stick. What a goal. Great pass there for Melissa. And unfortunately for the Eagles, they just didn't have enough defenders to stop what the Eagles were, or what the Knights were doing.
Yeah, that's a big second goal of the day for Tyler John. And Alyssa Johnson with a 3rd assist, showing that her game isn't just scoring goals, but she knows how to pass as well.
Both Eagles players now allowed to enter the game after that goal. Knights with another face-off here, Knights and Eagles. Eagles currently have 10 goals, Knights have 5. England wins the face-off again. Ball's thrown up. Johnson tries to possess it. Looks like the ball's hit out, and they give possession to the Eagles. Oh, it looked like Johnson had won it. Knights with the steal. This is number 28, Ellie Patterson's flying up the side, gets it to Kia. Kia again runs right to the middle. Knights throwing it around. This is Tyler John with it behind the cage. Gets it up to the 5.
You see Coach Whitworth give Ellie Patterson a high 5 there. That's 2 big picks that she made and turned it into an offensive stand here.
Johnson with it. Double teamed up top. Still in possession. Ball's hit out of her stick. Race to win possession here. Controlled by the Eagles. And now the Eagles with the breakaway.
And that was a good play by Johnson to elude the defense, but she got caught from behind by Gibbs, who was just showing that every part of the game is her strength here.
Great effort there by number 3, Roxy LeBaron, to get back in front of the offensive player there. Still sliding her feet. And unfortunately, he's called for a foul there right in front of goal. The Juniata player just did not want to give up. And that's number 26, Skylar Stevens, who now has an advantage. Thrown in, stopped there. What a great stop there from Morgan Bunch. Tupu with possession, tries to throw it to a Knight player. The ball is bouncing around, picked up there by Ellie Patterson, but still bouncing around. And the ref's going to give her possession of the ball for a foul there. Great job by Ellie.
And that previous defensive stand, that's not a bad foul to take by Roxy LeBaron, as the I think it was Yeager, she was all alone in front of the net and ends up missing a free position opportunity. So good stand by the Knights.
Ball bouncing around there. Turnover for the Knights as they try to get out in transition. Ball picked up for the Eagles. Looks like number 21, Shannon Para, with it. She gets trapped there on the sideline. Great defense by the Knights.
Excellent defense.
They get the turnover. Kia sprinting the ball up. She's got Skylar with her on the right side. Looks to throw it to Skylar. Eagles
Skylar on the right there.
Eagles with great defense there, getting back in transition. Ball over to Addison England. Piper with it. Over to Tyler. Knights doing some great weaving. Back up to Addison, who drops it but picks it back up. Ball deflected and picked up again by the Eagles. And they look to break in transition here. See if the Knights can get back and keep them in front.
Looked like Jaeger felt she got struck in the head there. His two Knights collided.
Webster and Patterson collide into each other. Ball on the ground. Picked up by England. But unfortunately, looks like the ref calls a foul. Not quite sure what happened there.
The Knights certainly picking up the intensity in this quarter.
Yeah, I like a lot of the things that they're doing right now. Eagles throwing it around the perimeter. Looks like that's Lapp, Goodrich. Back to Goodrich. Over to Jaeger. Gibbs with it. Tries to put it on frame. Misses, but picked up again by the Eagles. Jaeger with it up top. Gets it into Goodrich, who misses the shot. And great effort there from Morgan Bunch to earn possession for the Knights. And here we go again.
Yeah, that's great by Morgan Bunch, staying big in goal, not giving them much net to shoot at. I guess they had another open opportunity in the slot there.
Just over 2 minutes remaining in the half. If the Knights can get 1 or 2 goals here heading in and gain some momentum, it could be a whole different second half here for the Knights. It's 10-5. Looks like, unfortunately, Kia loses possession right there in the middle. But again, another steal there for the Knights by number 16, Bailey Bruce, who brings it up the right side. Great steal there, Quinn.
Yeah, the Knights have been able to cut off the transition there for the Eagles quite a few times now. So we'll see if the Eagles make any adjustments to that.
Tyler with it on the left side, tries to throw it in the middle. Ball's deflected. Knights still in possession. Roxy LeBaron over to Alyssa Johnson. Alyssa, great little step there. Tries to go with the in and out. Still looking to pass it. Knights get some cutters going through there. Alyssa still with it. Looks to her left. Still looking.
They're playing 2, sometimes 3 defenders on Alyssa Johnson at the point there. She tries to facilitate her way through the defense.
And Alyssa unfortunately loses it there. And it looks like the Eagles have called a timeout here with just under a minute remaining here in this first.
And despite the increase in pressure from the Knights, Juniata College, they've stayed calm and they've stayed with it on the defensive end, still not giving the Knights very much at all.
The Knights need to get one more stop here. If they can get a nice little steal here in transition, or one more stop and break away and get 1 goal right before the half, that would be huge for the momentum going right into the second half. What are some things you think we can do, Quinn, to get a steal here in transition and gain possession?
Well, I think the Knights certainly need to keep the intensity up, stay close to all the attackers on Juniata, because despite only having 55 seconds left in the quarter, you know they're just going to go for the goal. So if they can stay close and force a turnover, then we'll be able to keep it until the end of the quarter and hopefully score.
Both teams back out here in the field. Again, 55 seconds remain here. Eagles with it in possession. Eagles coach Tori Quinn giving last few second instructions. Knights break right through the middle. This is Gibbs with it right in front of the goal, and she puts it on frame. And Morgan Bunch can't keep that out. And unfortunately, that's a quick goal, 12 seconds after the timeout, and makes it 11-5 for the Eagles.
Wow, Gibbs gathered that super high in the air, was able to corral that and throw it in the bottom of the net. That was a super skilled play by Grace Gibbs.
That really was a pretty athletic play, wasn't it? She stretched up pretty far for that ball.
Yep.
Was able to keep possession, which is not hard with a women's lacrosse stick, and puts it right on frame.
And Gibbs, as well as Goodrich, are now at 4 goals, which is almost as much as they're averaging each game on the season.
Juniata on the season is averaging 34 shots a game and just over 17 shots, or 17 goals a game. And they're at 11 right now. Another face-off here for the Knights. Looks like Alyssa Johnson will pick it up.
It's another good draw from England.
Gets it over to Skopik in the middle. She's being patient with it. Swings it over to Bruce. Over to Kia. England. Ball stolen there by the Eagles. Webster with it on defense. And it just looks like we're going to get to halftime. Well, they'll stop it with 3 seconds left. Knights need to get back and not let anything crazy here happen on this throw-in. Looks like the Eagles will just throw it back, and that'll be the end of the half. The Eagles of Juniata College, 11. Southern Virginia, 5. Just a few halftime adjustments here, and hopefully we see a whole different second half here for the Knights.
Yep, the Knights adjusted well after the first quarter, so some good coaching changes and tips given to the players, and hopefully they'll be able to improve on that next half.
We'll be back in about 10 minutes. Thank you. Welcome back to the fields here at Southern Virginia University. We come back from a halftime break. And Quinn, what are your thoughts on how the Knights can get back into this?
Well, obviously we saw in the first half that the Eagles have had no problem scoring on the Knights. And then defensively, they came with a plan to keep Alyssa Johnson off the scoreboard. So if she's able to keep dishing it and find her teammates and spread the wealth, then the Knights, I think, can get back into it. But it all starts on the defensive end for the Knights.
Eagles with it. That's Gibbs bringing it up the right side. Gets the ball over. Again, still on the right side. This is number 21, Shannon Parra with it for the Eagles. Goes behind the cage. Mara with some great defense there. Keeps checking her to keep her out of the middle.
And one thing to note is the Knights have made a goaltending change. They've put number 32, Jessica Webb, in there.
Ball bouncing around the middle, and Webb picks it up. Webb's controlling it in the middle. Trots up the field, looking for her options. Still with it. Still with it. Passes the 50. Throws it over to Tyler, who loses possession. The Eagles pick it up. Knights gain it back. That's number 22, Piper Searle, picks it up. Gets the ball over to Alyssa. And I like the aggressiveness there of Jessica Webb just sprinting past midfield with the ball. Gets the ball up back over to Alyssa. Back over to Tyler. Gets it back to Kate Richards. Kate over to Piper. Back to Kate. Over to Tyler, back to Alyssa. Oh, excuse me, that's Roxy LeBaron.
And now the Knights starting to get a little closer to the 8-meter arc here.
Piper with it behind the cage. Over to Kate, who gets it to Tyler. Up top, she's about 10 yards away, looking to make some moves. Gets it over to Kate. And the refs call a penalty for something. And it looks like that'll be the Eagles, number 22, that gets called for the penalty. Kate Richards with a one-on-one here with the goalie. And scores it. What a goal from Kate Richards. And that brings one back for the Knights. 5 more to go, just a couple minutes into this third quarter.
Kate Richards, another freshman from Salt Lake City, Utah. She's been a great addition for the Knights this year. And that just adds to the spread of scores that the Knights have had so far this game, which is great to see.
Yep. Great start here to the third quarter. Knights cause a few turnovers, gain possession, and eventually punish the Eagles and score the goal.
And I think another player to watch for the Knights that we haven't mentioned too often is Piper Searle. She's second on the team this year in goals scored at 7, and she's yet to find the scoreboard today. But she tends to hang around the right side of the goal, along the goal line on the offensive side. So we'll see if the Knights can get possession. She can creep in the backside for a goal.
Alyssa Johnson back in the face-off circle for the Knights. Jumps up to get it, and the Knights gain possession again. This is Roxy LeBaron, who eventually turns the ball over to the Eagles. Eagles pick it up. Ball goes all the way back to Chloe Gerhardt in goal, who swings it over to Maeve Kuzer, who just got called for the penalty.
Maeve Kuzer leads the Eagles on ground balls this year at 23.
Eagles with it all the way in the left corner of the field. Guarded by the Knights number 16, Bailey Bruce. Still with it behind the cage. Drummond here with it on the right corner now.
And the Eagles are going to start to cut through the middle here and wreak havoc in front of the net.
Ball bounces around, picked up by the Eagles. And another goal for the Eagles as they put it right back up to 6. Good defense initially there. The ball bounces around on the ground, picked up, and eventually scored there.
Yeah, they just waited for the Knights to settle in defensively before attacking the middle of the cage, and eventually found their best scorer wide open in the middle.
The Knights will look to come back onto attack. They need to continue to be aggressive here. Like what I've seen so far, that was just another unfortunate bounce. The second goal they've given up off an unfortunate bounce. Let's see if the Knights can win another face-off here. Johnson rips it out. Controlled again by Roxy LeBaron. Let's see if we can control the possession through this initialness. Roxy loses it again. And she's called for a penalty. Looks like for a high stick.
That was a tough check there on, I think it was Grace Gibbs.
I think they call that on number 2, Alyssa Johnson, who's going to have to sit out for 2 minutes. Eagles with it here in possession. Get the ball right to the middle of the field. To a streaking number 25, Isabella Michener. Gets the ball over to Kuzer. Down under the cage.
See Gibbs wide open in the slot. Now she backs outside.
Good deflection there by Webb, right in front of the goal. Drummond loses it out of bounds. Great defense there by Tupu. Tupu picks it up. She's controlling it, brings it up just past the 10-yard line. Makes a few moves on Drummond and flies right past her. Drummond is nowhere near the class that Tupu has. Unfortunately, though, Tupu loses it, gains back possession.
That's one of her strengths, her speed, so it's good to see her using it there.
Knights lose the ball. Eagles with it here in transition, bringing it up to the 30, just past the 20. Josie Skopik with good defense there, just staying between her and the goal. That's all she's got to do. Don't let her get past. Eagles slow it down here a little bit. And it looks like number 16, Bailey Bruce, called for a foul there.
It's a good angle right here for the Eagles.
And great defense there. Good stop by Jessica Webb.
That's a good job in goal by Jessica. It looks like she was almost baiting her to go high as she went down low on her knees and forced the shot over top of the goal.
Ball right into the middle for the Eagles and scored there. Looks like that's number 28, I think, Yeager. The Knights get the stop off the penalty. Ball goes over the net, controlled by the Eagles. They get the ball right back into the middle and score the goal there. What could the Knights have done differently there, Quinn?
Well, sometimes it just comes down to bounces, and fortunate for the Eagles, their free position shot just sailed over the net and out of bounds, so they retained possession. But Yeager, she just had a clear lane right down the middle in front of the goal, so it's a tough one to stop for Jessica Webb, so they got to close that seam off.
Rainey looking to make a few adjustments down there on the sideline. Knights look to control the possession here on the faceoff. Switched it back to Addison England there. Ball controlled by the Eagles, number 23, Laura Dietrich.
And the Knights have had great opportunities to control the draws here in the second half, but they've been beat to it or just out-battled.
Looks like this is number 28, Yeager, bringing the ball up for the Eagles. Swung around. Ball just below the cage. Knights need to do a good job of keeping it out of the middle right here. Ref signals a stoppage of play. Looks like Mars called for a penalty there. Advantage, Eagles. Runs in and just hits it off the crossbar, looks like. Ball bounces around, controlled again by the Eagles. This is number 24, Isabella Drummond with it. Swings it around. Eagles still in possession.
And watch for the three attackers on the left side to slash through the middle of the field. Good steal.
Goodrich loses possession. Great defense there from Addison England, who hits it out from behind. Knights gain possession. England gets it into Marr. He throws it back to Webb. Webb looking to attack. Throws it all the way up to Ellie Patterson. Picked up by Skopik, who's streaking down the middle, all the way over to Alyssa Johnson. Who looks to attack, spins, puts it on goal, and scored by Alyssa Johnson. What a great shot there off the spin move. Great goal for Alyssa.
That's what she needed. It was a great opportunity off of the rush. She got more room down low than she typically has all day, and she was able to convert.
Looks like the Eagles are going to be making a goalie change here. Taking out number 30, Gerhard, and putting in number 31, Heatley, who's a freshman from Mountain View, California. So they're taking out their senior goalie and putting in their freshman goalie. interesting change here. Just kind of tells me that their coach is pretty confident that they've got this one in the bag if they're switching goalies and going to a freshman with just under 8 minutes left in the third quarter. Probably not the choice that I would make right now, but I guess you got to give her some experience somehow.
Yeah, it's an interesting decision, and you know, you can never know exactly what the coach is thinking. Maybe there's something that she likes more in Heatley right now with the pressure the Knights are giving.
The Knights win possession. Webster with it, over to Tyler. With their yellow sticks, looking to pass, throws it back up to Webster. Gets it back to Alyssa, who needs to continue to be aggressive there when she gets it up top. And she's being double or triple teamed. Here she is, again, 3 people right in front of her. Eagles saying, you're not going to be able to make any plays. Gets the ball over to Webster. Back up to Alyssa.
The Eagles just holding the line, and the Knights, they've been able to average about 30 shots a game, and in the first half only managed 7, so it's been impressive defense so far.
Piper over to Webster, who loses possession, controlled by the Eagles. And Gibbs turns it over, and the Knights, number 10, Josie Skopik with it. Looks to attack, gets it over to Reagan Bullock. Back up to Tyler with a nice little pass there. Up to Alyssa, back up top. Alyssa walking it up, saying let's get set. Over to Tyler. Gets it over to Piper. Ball's on the ground. And unfortunately, Piper just kind of relaxes there for a second. Doesn't realize that an Eagles defender is coming up. The Eagles player hits it right out of her hands. And unfortunately for the Knights turn it over there on a possession that I really thought could have been a game changer for them. They've got to get the ball back and try and regain the momentum.
That's good aggressive defense by Juniata. Just shows that they're not letting up, and they want to see how much they can get there as they score another one.
And another goal for in transition there for Juniata. Came off the turnover where it was just kind of a play the Knights didn't capitalize on. Juniata gets it out, sprints all the way down. Drummond makes a nice pass right into the middle of the field. And it looks like the Eagles get another one and go back up by 7 again, 14-7 here with just under 6 minutes to go here in the third quarter.
The Knights made a couple of substitutions after that last goal, bringing in Kate Richards again and also Brooklyn Settlemer, both freshmen to the team this year.
Looks like we got Addison England again here in midfield. Wins the faceoff. Picked up by the Knights, number 10, Josie Skopik.
Looks like she
stepped out of bounds there, a slip, or I don't know what happened.
Must have stepped out. It was, the bench was kind of blocking our view.
Ball controlled here by the Eagles, number 25, Isabel Skitchner, who gets it over to Gibbs. Back over to Drummond. Eagles with it, still on the left side. Back up to Goodrich up top. And again, another great defensive play there from Addison England, who controls it, gets the ball over to Piper Searle, who's sprinting up the right side, looking to pass it. Piper double teamed. That's got to be a foul, and it is. Knights still with it here in possession. Excuse me, that was not number 22. That was number 28, Ellie Patterson. Ellie with some great defense there.
It'll be important for the Knights to test Heatley here. Heatley, she's, as mentioned earlier, a freshman from Mountain View, California. As Gerhard has had the heavy load so far in net for the Eagles this season, helping the team to one of the best save percentages in the country.
Tyler with it here on the left side. Looking to pass. Gets it over to Kate. Kate over to Alyssa. Alyssa with a nice little spin move. That's how she scored her last goal. Still with 3 players around her. Anywhere she tries to go. Splits the double team. Gets into the middle. Ball's knocked out of her stick. Ball goes around. Controlled by the Eagles. Now they're looking to bringing it up all the way on the far side of the field. Good defense here by number 8, Kia Baisden. Great job running with her. Eagles got it here in the middle. Looks like that's number 24, Kellyanne Drummond with it, controlling it, slowing it down for the Eagles. They don't need to go anything crazy. They can take the full 90 off, get a shot off, and really try to control the rest of this game. Drummond all the way up to Para, who's got it up top. Good defense there from the Knights. Ellie puts a cross check on her. Gets a yellow card here. And it looks like Ellie's going to have to come and sit out for at least 2 minutes there. Gets called for a yellow card. I really thought she kind of extended her arms just a little too much there. And that's an unfortunate call there for the Knights.
Yeah, she got beat off the left side and it forced her into a foul.
Another penalty here for the Eagles. Let's see if Fox can get another stop, and she does. Great stick work there for her. Jessica Webb with a great stop. Great stick work.
Yeah, I'm surprised the Eagles went low there again, as it seems like Webb, she's been expecting that and anticipated that shot very well.
Alyssa now with it, bringing it up for the Knights. The Eagles player looks like Para went a little too far there. Ref stops the play, brings it back. Reverses the decision, and now it's the Eagles' ball again. I'm not quite sure what just happened there. Knights got it again. Got to sprint back in transition. They're still down a player. Eagles with it up top. Ball all the way over here to Drummond on the right side. Gibbs slowly coming into the play. She gets the ball. Brings the ball all the way back to the middle. And ball's bouncing around there. Eagles pick it right back up. Just under a minute and a half left here in the third quarter. Swung over to Drummond again on the right. Great defense there from Tupu, who's all over her. We've already seen Tupu's athleticism blow by Drummond earlier and forces the turnover. She's got to continue to do that. Tupu gets the ball over to Kia, who sprints down the middle and puts it on frame and just misses it. Picked up here by Brooklyn, who's just in the perfect position. Great job by Kia, putting pressure on again in transition. Gets the ball right to the middle, just misses. Brooklyn gets it over to Riley. Ball's deflected, Riley loses it. Ball controlled by the Eagles. She tries to throw it up. Mars there with some great defense. Tupu picks it up again. She's been all over the field the last few possessions. Alyssa Johnson with it up top again. Let's see, when she drives, again, multiple Eagles players right around her. And this time the ball goes out for another Juniata possession.
It's good to see Alyssa Johnson taking shots. I think she only had one shot total the entire first half, and she's slinging it, what she needs to do to get her team back in it.
Anytime, Quinn, that she tries to get to the middle, there are 2-3 players there every time.
Yep.
And that'll do it here for the third quarter of action with Juniata 14 and SVU 7, and we will be back in just a few minutes. Knights win the face-off here to start the fourth period. Alyssa Johnson picks it up here in the middle of the field. Looks to pass it up. Ball bounces there on the far left. Controlled by Tyler, gets it back to Alyssa. Over to Roxy. Kia with it now on the right side. Kia all the way over to number 24, Skylar Rowe, who throws it just over the head to a Knights player. Picked up again by Kia. Kia over to Alyssa. Tyler John saying to Kate, just keep the ball there on the left side. Multiple Knights players running right through the middle. Looking to cut. Great attack there. Still looking to go somewhere with the ball. Piper Searle with it. Back over to Alyssa. Alyssa over to Tyler, who gets the ball over to Kate Richards. Kia with it. Back to Alyssa up top. Again, surrounded by multiple Eagles players. Crosses over, gets a girl to fall down, and puts it right on frame. Alyssa Johnson brings another one back for the Knights. Goal, which brings them to 8, and that was beautiful.
That was a sweet cut by Alyssa Johnson to get one defender off balance. Then she made a really nice cut around the second defender and got right into the middle of the slot where she needed to be, and went right underneath the legs of the goalie.
What a beautiful spin move. That's just how she scored her first one. Put the same move on again for the second one. Bounces it right in front of the net and brings one back. The Knights are only down 6 here. They did a great job defensively. They held the Eagles to only 3 goals last time. They can get right back into this, especially within lacrosse. Every team after each goal just goes with the face-off, and you can continue to gain possession after possession. If the Knights can just get 2 or 3 more back and make a game of this, it'll be a very interesting fourth quarter here.
Yeah, the Knights have steadily improved in the circle with the draws during the game. We'll see if Alyssa can win this one.
Eagles gain possession.
It's a big collision.
And number 18, Peyton Goodrich, just sprints right in, goes uncontrolled, and just flies right into, looks like she had a collision there with Mara amongst a few other Knights. And she gets called for the foul. Tupu will have to stand behind her. And Goodrich is going to have a little advantage here. And Jessica Webb stops another one there. Great defense there for the Knights.
Yeah, the freeze position has been the bread and butter of the Eagles all season, and Jessica Webb has been shutting the door so far.
She stopped 3 of those so far in this second half. Great goalie change here by Coach Rainey Whitworth. Bailey loses control with it there in transition up the right side. Controlled here by Para for the Eagles. Brings it all the way back behind the cage. She still has it. Roxy LeBaron was there as the main defender for the Knights. It's good defense by her. Tupu doing a good job of trying to read the passing lanes there for SVU. Keep the ball in front of you, Knights. It's the biggest goal. Yeager with it there on the left side. Gets it over to Drummond, who loses possession. And Kate Richards streaking up the right side here, closest to us for the Knights. Looking to pass it. Gets the ball over to Tyler, but unfortunately the ball's picked off right in the middle. And the Eagles again with it back in transition again.
Yeah, the Eagles have been able to get these quick turnovers all afternoon long. And they're so quick that the Knights are trying to make substitutions, but they can't because they need to get back on defense. That was a sweet move by Gibbs.
Not sure what's going on here, but the refs have come here together talking about something. Some of the Knights defenders don't seem too happy with what's going on here.
Knights are going to have to rally the troops here, especially after the injury to Brooklyn Settlemeyer. Looked like it was non-contact at the end of the third quarter. Looks to be getting good help on the bench here.
Alyssa controlled it there for the Knights. Gets the ball over to Mar, who's fouled as she looked to run in transition. Mar picks back up her stick. Gets the ball back, throws it back over to Alyssa, who swings it all the way over across the field to number 19, McKaylee Huntsman. McKaylee triple teamed here with it in the corner. Picks the ball back up. She's got to bring it across the 50. Eagles players told that they've got to back up.
And that play right there just shows you how aggressive the defense of Juniata is. McKaylee Huntsman, not a noted scorer. She's on defense, and look at that. Wow.
Huntsman tries to throw the ball back to Jessica Webb, who throws it over to her head. And unfortunately for the Knights, the ball bounces into the goal for an own goal there. Looks like that will go against Huntsman. And it just a very, very unfortunate bounce there for the Knights.
Yeah, a tough break. Seemed like a little bit of a communication with Huntsman and Jessica Webb. Webb a little bit closer than Huntsman anticipated.
Looks like it'll be Johnson again here in the face-off for the Knights. Both players jump up. Ball controlled here by Webster, who sprints up the left side, and she's got some serious speed on her. Ball goes up to Piper. Gets it over to Tyler. Back over to Riley. Riley tries to throw it over to number 14, Michaela Martin. Ball controlled now by Ashlyn Sanger. Ashlyn over to Piper. Back to Piper. Piper with a nice little spin move. Here comes the second player for Juniata. They continue to be aggressive here with just 9 minutes remaining in the game.
They're trying to get Johnson to cut inside and get free for a solo shot. But the Eagles have been marking her well.
The Knights gain an advantage, but unfortunately the ball bounces around. Alyssa Johnson picks it up. Looks to run with it, but another turnover for the Knights as the Eagles look to break. Ellie Patterson there tries to stop her. The Eagles player gets past her. Gets it over to Kendall Yeager. Yeager over to Drummond. Drummond loses possession, but it looks like they're going to call her for a foul. Drummond with it just to the right of Jessica Webb. Jessica, who's stopped quite a few of these so far, comes up with another stop there for the Knights. Great defense. The Knights need another stop here. Yeager with it. Up to Gibbs.
There's another low shot selection on the free position shot there. They haven't been able to figure out Jessica Webb quite yet.
Looks like Knights player, looks like they called it on Tupu. Gets called for another foul. Gibbs with a one-on-one on Webb, who stopped a few of these and stops another one. Look at that. She is on fire right now in goal. Ellie Patterson with it up the right side. Just loses possession. Ball back to the Eagles. Kendall Yeager with it. Swings it over to Stevens. Stevens over to Drummond. Drummond over to Malger. Back to Gibbs. Tries to put in a move on. Webb with another stop there in front of goal. Picked up by the Eagles. And Webb is doing such a great job in there, Quinn.
Yeah, she's super aggressive in goal, and those passes that go right to the slot, she's been ready for them so far.
Eagles with it behind the cage. 40 seconds left on the shot clock. Ball dropped, but picked back up by Malger.
It's good anticipation by Ellie Patterson. She almost had that steal again.
Eagles with it. Switching around the cage. And Skylar Stevens puts the ball on frame and slides it just inside Jessica Webb, who tried to stop it, but unfortunately couldn't quite keep that one out, as she's been so phenomenal here in the second half, but just couldn't stop that one right there.
That was great defense by the Knights, just a better shot. They got Stevens into a tough position that they wanted. And Jessica, she's been really good on the low shots, but couldn't corral that one.
Looks like we got a timeout here. Not sure if they called it on the Knights, if they called it, or the Eagles. But either way, just over 6.5 minutes left remaining in this game. The Eagles are up 16-8. The Knights are looking at 4, maybe 5 more solid possessions here, and have really got to kind of speed things up and cannot afford to be anything but aggressive here at the end of this game.
Yeah, they've struggled to score since the first quarter, when essentially they had 3 possessions and 3 goals. And since then, they haven't been able to get more than 2 1/4, scoring only once in the fourth quarter here.
What are some things the Knights can do here with just a little over 6 minutes remaining to try and get back in this game and make the ending interesting?
Well, I think they need to play with pace, and they need to speed up their offensive execution, because it seems like each time they get onto the offensive side, the Eagles are doing a really good job of forcing them to the outside of the 8-meter arc and not letting anybody get inside. They've been trying to get Alyssa Johnson to cut inside and get her open shot, but they've been closing the door so far, so they've got to find a way to find those seams in the defense, which is, it's difficult. The Eagles are playing zone, and they're stacking the inside of the arc. So it's difficult, but should be a good test and a great learning experience for the Knights.
Both players now ready for the face-off. It'll be number 18, Peyton Goodrich, for the Eagles. And again, number 9, Addison England here for the Knights. Similar to what Webb's done in goal, Addison England has done a great job here in the face-off, winning quite a few here for the Knights. We've just got to capitalize on these possessions as we earn them. Tupu with a good box out right there, but unfortunately ball bounces to number 21, Shannon Para, who sprints below the cage. Gets it over to Drummond.
And Shannon Para of the Eagles has had a sneaky good game. She's been able to spread the defense of the Knights out and send some good passes into the slot right in front of the cage. Good save there.
Another great save from Webb. Unfortunately, on the pass out, Tupu's called for a foul. They give the ball back to the Eagles with nobody around her. Alyssa Johnson's pretty close. Does a great job of breaking. The Eagles just bring it back out because she didn't really have any shots. Another stop there for the Knights. But unfortunately, the Eagles still gain possession, or keep possession. Parra with it. Parra over to Yeager. Yeager to Drummond, who has it up top. Tries to attack, but unfortunately the ball bounces out and over to number 23, Laura Dietrich. Eagles still with it. Tupu with some good defense, sliding her feet. Ball over, defended by Ellie. The Eagles get it right into the middle and unfortunately get one more past Webb, who had stopped 2 other shots on that possession. But unfortunately the Eagles kept possession, and that's another goal for number 18, Peyton Goodrich.
Really stellar offensive execution by the Eagles there. The ball carrier is able to get into the middle of the field and seemingly confuse the Knight defenders. And somehow Goodrich was able to spring free of her defender and have a wide open shot in the slot. So on the defensive end of things, it looks like the Knights really need to watch for those passes right to the middle. The ball carrier tends to make their way to either the left or right side of the 8-meter arc and draw defenders into her, which opens up the middle of the lane in front of the cage.
Both players now again ready for the face-off here. Ref says go. Number 1, Riley Webster battling in there for the Knights. Ball controlled by the Eagles. This is Peyton Goodrich, bring it up. Peyton looking to attack. Has to bring the ball back for a foul. Just under 5 minutes remaining in the game. Eagles up 9. Ball thrown back to Mauger, who gets it over to Drummond. Drummond swings it over to Yeager, who's defended valiantly there.
And see as Drummond gets closer to the arc, the rest of her teammates cram the front of the cage.
And unfortunately, Kendall Yeager just goes and attacks, gets the ball right into the top corner of the cage, just over Webb's left shoulder, and puts one in again for the Eagles. Makes the score 18-8.
And while the score looks like it's getting out of hand, I think the Knights have played Juniata tough. Juniata seems like they're one of the best offensive teams in the country, given that Peyton Goodrich, with 7 goals today, has over 40 on the season already in just 8 games played. So it's a great test for the Knights, and they need to keep pushing all the way to the end here.
Both players ready again here for the face-off. Just about 3 minutes remaining here in this game. Ball bouncing around, controlled again by the Eagles. Ball still bouncing around. Former goal scorer Yeager with it here on the left side, just in front of us. Gets the ball over to Stevens, who gets it back over to Goodrich. Eagles controlling it there on the far side of the field. Mara with good defense, keeping her in front of her. Great defense there for that whole time from Mar.
Jessica Webb doing a good job of getting her stick up and obstructing the passing lane into the middle.
Eagles still with it. Get the ball to a cutting Goodrich, who brings it back out, who pulls it out and gets the ball back to another cutting Eagles player, who misses the shot. The Eagles maintain possession. Just under 2 minutes to play here. Eagles with it, Parra with it up top.
It's a good defense by Roxy LeBaron, forcing her further out.
Ball back across. Bailey tries to get a steal. Can't quite get it. Roxy again there with good defense. And that'll be a shot clock violation. That's 90 good seconds of defense there. But unfortunately, that's 90 seconds of clock that goes off. Knights ball again, just under a minute and a half left.
That was a good job of LeBaron finding the right angles and cutting off any lane that the Eagles were searching for.
Mar with it. Minute 22 remaining here. Just waiting for the refs to say, let's go again. Not quite sure what we're talking about here. Rainey's trying to ask the ref a question.
Looks like maybe Roxy LeBaron maybe was penalized, it looks like. Surprised at that. Didn't see anything.
I didn't really see anything
harmful
that
with
was
the
worth
stick.
Getting penalized for.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a shot clock violation. Next thing you know, she's over. But play on. Webb throws it up. Ball bouncing around about the 35-yard line. Still loose. Picked up by the Eagles. Knights called for a foul there.
So the Knights will end up finishing the game with just 11 players on the field, including Webb, the goalie.
Ball thrown up to the 50, all the way up to the 30. Looks like Maugers with it. Gets the ball over to the middle. Eagles still with it in possession. Knights do a good job of double teaming the ball. Cause the loose ball, but unfortunately the Eagles still maintain possession. Goodrich has it here with just about 15 seconds remaining. Just inside the 25-yard line. Backs back out a little bit. And they're just going to hold on to the ball here with 6 seconds left. And that'll do it there for the ball game. Final score is Juniata College 18, SVU 8. Any final thoughts here on this one, Quinn?
It was a good effort. It's a tough matchup, Juniata being one of the best offensive teams in the country right now. But it's a great learning experience. I thought the Knights played them tough, especially after the first quarter when they went down by 4 goals. And hopefully they can learn defensively and be able to thrive on the offensive side of things to come.
Very good battle there for the Knights. They've got some things they've got to learn from. They did show some good signs, but unfortunately not the result we wanted, and on to the next game on Saturday. Thanks for tuning in. We hope to see you guys Saturday. Have a great day and go Knights.